Well, we're back once again with Table Talk, and it's hashtag extraordinary things, which obviously everyone's been following that. This is part of our sub-series where we talk about sort of problems that come up a lot in hands, like things that you're going to see a lot if you're playing that are just like, what do I do here? Or this kind of sucks, or this is sort of interesting, but not something that like you're going to see Stephen Chidwick do that often because, you know, he's a computer and doesn't care about anything. He's got no emotions. It's different. He's just built different. Anyway.
Probably not Steve Buscemi either if we're doing Steve's.
You know what? That's a great point. That's a great point. All right, here's a hand where we're going to be in the hijack. I'd like for everyone who's a big follower of this, not the low jack range. It is the hijack.
Good.
And we've got the queen jack of clubs. And, you know, we're going to start with a normal raise, playing 25-50 on clubs poker. Make it 1.5 blinds. We're going to get called by the big blind, I believe. Indeed, we do. And the flop comes out. Not so bad. Ace, ace, 8 with 2 clubs. So we have the second nut flush draw on a board that, in theory, is pretty good for us.
Yeah, let's make clear the effective stacks for the listeners here. We have 88 sweeps coins, so we're deep, and the opponent has 60. So pretty 61. Deep here with 2.75 in the middle.
Yep. And something a little unusual is going to happen. And by that, I mean our opponent's going to check, and I'm going to bet. I bet tiny. This is not a surprise on an ace, ace, 8 board against the big blind when I opened here. I bet 83 into 275. Sorry, 0.83, I should say, into 275. And we get the call. So any thoughts before we continue?
It could just be a lot of things. It could be king high. It could be an 8. It could be an ace. It could be weaker clubs. You know, it's just there's a fair amount of folds that should be in the opponent's range.
For sure.
So they have something that connects somewhat with the board, but we're not overly concerned that they're nutted or anything at this point.
By no means. Yeah, for 83 cents, they could have 2 5s in their hand still.
Yeah.
Right? They could have just decided to take one off and see if they can spike a 5 and try and get the whole stack against trip aces even. Every 2 weeks, we have a special Poker Guys Mystery Bounty Tournament on Clubs Poker. Come play, try and knock us out. There's money involved. It's great.
There is money involved, and there's more money for you when you use the code POKERGUYS when you sign up because there is a 100% deposit bonus. Sign up today. Mysteries await.
All right, so a 3 of hearts comes on the turn. Pretty innocuous card. He checks again. Do you want to continue?
This is a common spot that
exactly.
Theory demands 2 separate things, it feels like. We have a range advantage, right?
Yes.
So we can bet simply because of that, and we have... I mean, it's more of the river that I'm thinking of in spots like this, but it does apply to the turn a little bit. We have a hand that can improve, but at the same point, we block a lot of the hands that they have that will fold to a sizable bet. If they had like queen high or jack high clubs, maybe they continue anyway to a sizable bet, but
I think
those are hands that we want them to have versus having an ace or anything. Like, I guess they have 8s that they might fold. They're never folding an ace.
No, never. No, I would never target. I think if we're betting, we would never consider targeting an ace. We're just targeting all the one pair hands and weird other stuff he decided to call for 83 cents because it was so freaking cheap. You know, like we down bet massively, you know, which is standard in this spot, but that means we kept everything in. So now we can try and start to push some of that stuff around. So if we're betting, I think that's what we're doing it for, with, of course, the prospect of improving still.
Yeah.
So I believe I decide to bet here. I'm almost sure I decide to bet.
You checked it back.
No, I checked it back like the tough guy I am.
What a tough guy.
And I hit the 9 of clubs on the river. How about that? So now we have the second nut flush on an ace 8, ace 3, 9 board with the third club coming in. We got the queen jack of clubs. Now, I sort of wish I bet the turn, right? Because there was 441 in there. It would have been nice to build this pot up. But what are you going to do? We decided to take the free one. Our opponent does something unusual. Remember I said on the flop they're going to do something unusual? This is when it actually happens. They min bet the river. They bet 50 cents into 441.
All right, I think the classic thing to do is just treat it like a check and bet the size you would have bet had they checked.
Okay. I definitely treat it like not a serious bet. And I end up betting slightly more, actually, just in case he has a hand like an ace in his hand now. I want to make sure I get value out of it. Because I feel like he's got a lot of insta-folds and insta-calls, right? So I decide to size up to get value from the trip aces, which just feel like they can't fold. So instead of making it like 3/4 pot or something like that, which is what I might do, I make it 6 into a pot of what is now 4.5 or almost 5. So it's not a huge bet, but I size up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he goes all in for 60.
Yeah, that sucks. It seems like he springboarded himself real good there.
Yep. It sure does, doesn't it?
I mean, I don't know anything about the level of player. Turning an ace into a bluff here would be an interesting play, but it's not a play that a lot of people have. And if you're going to do it, you should go big. So yeah, it feels like it's usually a full house. I think we just fold, and we didn't lose that much against a full house, so that's nice.
Yep. I felt very similarly. Like, I don't think this player, and I don't know this player to be clear, but I don't think this player is going to have I have ace 5 here and I'm going to turn it into a bluff because I got raised. I think most players are just going to call that anyway. Even good players are often going to call because it's good blockers. I fold, and luckily the guy does show, and I don't know if you can see, but he's got ace 9. So I actually did river the nuts. And
so it was the worst card in the deck, the 9 of clubs.
It was the absolute worst card in the deck. That's right. That's right. I was probably, if he had checked the river, I was probably going to attack it anyway. And if he bet tiny on the river, I might have attacked it no matter what game. If he bet 50 cents, I might have done it. But I don't think he's betting 50 cents, except when the 9 comes, right? Because he's trying to get all these things to happen. It's a very effective play because I'm doing it with value and probably with bluffs. And then I am having to fold literally almost my entire range here. Like, I guess if I have ace king...
The jam was probably a mistake by your opponent there. Like, getting value is very difficult at that point. I think they should have made it like 20 at most.
I mean, what am I calling with? I guess if I have ace 8 or ace 3, I will call because he could have the nut flush himself. But that's it. I think I'm probably folding 3-3 a lot. I don't know what I'm doing with 3-3 actually. That's tougher. 8-8 and 3-3, I'm not sure. But I'm betting the turns with those anyway, 100% of the time, so I never have them. So it doesn't matter. By the way, I'm betting the turn with all the good hands. With ace 8, I'm betting also. So actually, there's no hand I can get here with that I can call this shove with. So that's not good for him when he shoves with the nuts, right?
Yeah.
He needs to go smaller to at least try and capture some value. Give me a chance to rebluff. I don't know. He should just click it back, really, is what he should do. But, I mean, I'm going to fold anyway, I think, even if he clicks it back, probably. But with this hand. But if I had, I don't know. If I had ace 8, I wouldn't. If I had ace king, I'm betting those hands on the turn. I don't know what I'm talking about. If I have ace 5,
you saved a lot of money by checking the turn, even though we both thought a bet was in order.
Unless he was going to check raise the turn. He might have been looking to check raise, and then maybe I would have gotten away there. But yeah, that was just another one you got to fold. Hashtag sometimes you got to fold.
Hashtag folding it is good.
Tired of being tired of being sick. In my head 24/7, how I'm supposed to pay the rent. Mr. Practice, I don't play. Friday nights we on the bench, trying to come up with a play. If it don't work, then hit a lick. 12 knocking at my door, praying they ain't tell. I'm studying her word, prayer. Baby Excel, got away with way too much. Should've got expelled, but the school saw my potential. Smart kid trying to rebel.